The Arrogant Empire and the Forgotten Colony. For 3,000 years, the Galactic Empire of Zarnak reigned unchallenged. Its fleet spanned 1,000 worlds, its rule enforced by bureaucracy, fear, and overwhelming firepower. They had crushed rebellions, assimilated civilizations, and reduced entire species to compliant tools. The Empire didn't believe in negotiation. It believed in domination. So, when Imperial scouts stumbled upon a long-lost human colony on the edge of the Varnock Fringe, the Empire barely raised an eyebrow. "These primitives still cling to fusion engines," scoffed Lord Admiral Cale Tharn as he reviewed the report. "Seize the system. Re-educate them." Within a week, the planet was under Imperial control. The colonists, descendants of a lost Terran generation ship from Earth's early spacefaring age, were herded into camps. Their history was scrubbed, their language banned, and their children taken for Imperial indoctrination. It should have ended there. But buried deep in a forgotten relay satellite, a signal activated, a last-ditch failsafe from centuries ago. Ancient Terran coding, barely functional, began transmitting a distress beacon. It pulsed weakly across hyperspace, bouncing off dark matter anomalies and ancient wormholes like a ghost. That signal reached Earth. Earth wasn't the fractured, naive world it had been 2 centuries prior. It was now the beating heart of the Terran ascendancy, a unified force of 12 systems, driven not by conquest, but by survival. After decades of war with the Authari swarms and the fractal AI plagues, humanity had evolved. They had learned. They had adapted. They had built the TSS Vengeance. Admiral Elise Ward stood at the viewport of the Vengeance's bridge, arms folded behind her back, the stars reflecting in her steel-gray eyes. Around her, the warship hummed with restrained power, over a kilometer long, cloaked in stealth-absorbing alloys, its weapons silent but lethal. "Set course for the Varnock Fringe," she ordered. The crew didn't question. The message had been received, the location confirmed. The colony was real. The Empire had taken what belonged to Earth. One ship was sent, because one ship was enough. Back in the Zarnak throne chamber, word of the incoming vessel arrived. A single Terran ship? Emperor Valis laughed from his crystalline throne. "Let it come." Humans bark loudly, but they break easily. He waved a clawed hand. "Dispatch a patrol squadron. Make an example of it." His advisors bowed low, hiding their unease. They had no idea what they were sending their ships toward. In deep space, the Vengeance cut through the stars like a blade. Its AI, codenamed Legion, spoke into the quiet bridge. Enemy forces detected. 20 ships, light cruisers and interceptors. Standard Zarnak formation. Orders. Admiral Ward's lips curled into a grim smile. "Make the introduction. Let them know who we are." The stars watched silently. War was coming, and humanity was done being forgotten. First contact, first mistake. The Zarnak Patrol Squadron waited at the edge of the Varnock Fringe, weapons primed, formation locked. 20 Imperial warships, sleek, silver-edged cruisers bristling with plasma cannons, held their positions like wolves around a lamb. The lamb arrived. The TSS Vengeance dropped from quantum slipspace in total silence. No fanfare, no bluster. One massive, obsidian warship, its hull matte black and angular, absorbing sensor pings like a void in the cosmos. It hovered just beyond the Imperial perimeter. Inside, Admiral Elise Ward stood calm. On the holographic display before her, 20 enemy ships blinked red. "Legion," she said softly, broadcast message. The AI's voice echoed with a composed, multi-tonal harmony. Channel open. Ward stepped forward. "This is Admiral Elise Ward of the Terran Ascendancy. You are holding citizens of the human race against their will. Release them and withdraw. You have one opportunity to comply." The Empire's reply came moments later. A sneering face of the Zarnak fleet commander filled the screen. His ceremonial armor shimmered with embedded rubies, and his expression dripped with arrogance. "A single ship? You insult us. Surrender now, Terran, and your crew will be spared briefly." The channel cut. Ward didn't blink. "Legion. Target acquisition complete. Firing solutions calculated. Probability of enemy fleet survival, 0.03%. Ward gave a slow nod. Engage. In a heartbeat, space exploded. From a Vengeance's silent hull, neutrino spears launched. Invisible to standard sensors, but devastating upon impact. 3 Imperial cruisers vanished in sudden, silent implosions. Before the rest could react, gravitic collapse mines activated midfield, folding localized space around 4 more ships into microsingularities. Metal screamed and compressed into fist-sized orbs of wreckage. Zarnak formations scattered, trying to regroup. But the Vengeance was already gone. Using dimensional flicker drives, the Terran ship vanished and reappeared within their formation, striking from within their lines. A single broadside from its thorium disruptor array cut through 2 more ships like paper. On the Zarnak flagship, the commander screamed for evasive maneuvers, but too late. The Vengeance locked it in place with a tractor phase tether, then sliced the bridge clean off with a focused particle lance. 17 ships entered the battle. 2 limped away. Aboard the Vengeance, calm reigned. Minimal energy usage, Legion reported. Shields untouched. Hull integrity at 100%. Ward watched the last fleeing ships disappear into hyperspace. They'll send more. Yes, Legion replied. Massive fleet movement detected from Zarnak core. Estimated arrival for days. Ward turned toward the starfield, her voice cold. Let them come. Across the Empire, the news of the lost patrol stunned high command. Reports were dismissed as malfunctions, lies, hallucinations. But deep in the Zarnak Imperial Archive, an old entry flickered to life. Terran ascendancy, status, lost. Threat level, unknown. Someone had just updated it. New status, active. Threat level, extreme. The Battle of the Varnock Corridor. The Varnock Corridor was the only navigable path to the colony, an ancient trade lane flanked by unstable gravitic anomalies and asteroid fields. It was a natural choke point, and the Empire seized the opportunity. 300 ships assembled. Carriers, dreadnoughts, plasma barges, and drone swarms. The pride of Zarnak's Imperial Navy, weighted like a wall of steel and fury. Admiral Dras Veruin, commander of the Armada, stood aboard the super dreadnought Zeal of Dominion, confident and proud. She will come, he said. The humans are bold, but we are eternal. She did. The TSS Vengeance emerged from slipspace alone, as expected. No reinforcements, no escorts, just that same silent black dagger slicing through the stars. Admiral Ward scanned the battlefield. Legion. Enemy forces locked in static formation. Primitive logic tree. Maximum firepower, minimal adaptability. Shall I begin? Ward's eyes narrowed. Wait. She opened a channel to the entire enemy fleet. You've made your intentions clear. So have we. This is your last chance to leave. Surrender now, and we will not pursue. Silence. Then laughter. Mocking voices. An empire too old and bloated to recognize danger. Admiral Veruin appeared on the screen. One ship cannot stop a tide. Ward's voice dropped to a whisper, then drowned in it. The Vengeance disappeared. In a flash, it blinked behind the enemy formation, using dimensional flicker drives to phase in and out of reality. The Empire's targeting computers couldn't lock onto it. Missiles launched at ghosts. Plasma bolts hit only stars. Then the killing began. Singularity lances tore into carriers, collapsing their cores into molten slag. Cyberwarfare viruses embedded in the Vengeance's attack bursts hijacked enemy AI, turning drone swarms on their masters. Within seconds, the back of the formation erupted into chaos. Imperial ships collided in panic. Command nodes screamed in confusion. Orders contradicted each other as hacked systems flooded with false data. Legion spoke evenly. 35 confirmed kills. Uploading chaos pattern. The Vengeance emerged at the center of the formation and spun, unleashing a 360-degree thorium disruptor barrage. Entire capital ships disintegrated mid-formation. On the Zeal of Dominion, Admiral Veruin shouted over the alarms. It's not a ship, it's a His words were cut short as the Vengeance's main cannon, a tricore dark matter projector, fired. The Zarnak flagship ruptured down its spine. Its core imploded. The Admiral died with his pride. When it ended, 278 ships were gone. The rest fled into hyperspace, leaving behind wreckage and silence. Inside the Vengeance, Legion gave the tally. 0 casualties. Shields at 93%. Primary weapons recharged. Admiral Ward stood still, her voice steady. Plot course to the colony. Yes, Admiral, but there is chatter. A hologram lit up, dozens of Imperial systems broadcasting emergency signals. Uprisings, riots, fear. The illusion of Zarnak invincibility had been shattered. Admiral Ward watched it unfold with quiet resolve. Good. It's time they remembered what we are. Humanity had spoken, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. Empire shattered. Humanity revealed. The sky above the lost human colony was blackened by the wreckage of fleeing Zarnak ships. Fires still smoldered in the labor camps below, their smoke twisting through broken guard towers and shattered walls. The TSS Vengeance entered orbit silently. Admiral Elise Ward stood on the bridge, watching the surface through the viewport. Scan status. Legion's voice echoed. Remaining resistance minimal. Approximately 1,200 captives. Colonists genetically confirmed. Direct descendants of Terran generation ship Hope's Echo. Imperial overseers preparing final purge. Ward's eyes hardened. Prepare surface insertion. No warnings this time. What happened next was surgical. Drop pods rained from orbit, carrying Terran shock marines in black exoframes that moved like shadows. The Empire's final guards tried to stand, but their weapons jammed, disabled mid-air by Legion's EMP web. Marines breached the camps with 0 resistance. They moved from cell to cell, clearing rooms, securing hostiles, and activating med beacons for the injured. Not a single colonist was harmed. The Empire had expected them to be forgotten. Instead, they were liberated by a force the galaxy barely remembered, but would never forget again. In the central square, Admiral Ward stood before a crowd of stunned, silent colonists. Emaciated but alive, their eyes filled with disbelief. "You are not alone," she told them. "You were never forgotten. We are Earth. We are humanity. And we are here to take you home." The silence broke into tears, cheers, and chants of Terra. Terra! Terra! For the first time in 2 centuries, the lost children of Earth saw their people again. Across the galaxy, the impact was immediate. Zarnak governors found their control slipping. Subject species, long cowed by fear, rose in rebellion, emboldened by whispers of a single Terran warship that had obliterated fleets and freed a planet. The Empire tried to suppress the footage, but it was too late. The Vengeance's battle records and Ward's broadcast had been leaked across comnets. One line echoed across the stars. "You're not gods. You bleed like the rest." Back in the Imperial capital, panic set in. Emperor Valis demanded retaliatory strikes, only to discover most of his fleet was gone or in mutiny. The illusion of control cracked. Meanwhile, in a quiet chamber aboard the Vengeance, Admiral Ward sat beside a young colony girl who clutched a ragged stuffed animal. "Will the Empire come back?" the girl whispered. Ward looked her in the eye. "They can try," she said, placing a reassuring hand on the girl's shoulder. "But they'll never forget what we are." The TSS Vengeance turned toward Earth, its engines glowing softly as it slipped back into the stars. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, but as a reckoning. One ship, one mission, 1,000 broken chains, and a message carved into every shattered Empire hull. Humanity does not kneel.